Good morning again, everybody. So I'm out here in my grow room getting some watering done. I've got most of the plants out of the small greenhouse, or sorry, orchidarium to my left. And I have all my Lepanthes pulled out, giving them a quick watering and giving them a little bit of CalMag and Kelp Max. And I just wanted to kind of do a quick spotlight video on these guys. I know that some people could care less because they're very small plants, but they're very rewarding. These are some of my favorite species. My favorite plant in my collection is actually the Lepanthes telepogoniflora, and it is just one of the most rewarding plants I have. It's almost always in bloom year round, and I've had this thing for almost 2 years now, and since it came into flower, it just doesn't stop. Pretty much all of them are the same way. They're always in bud or flower. And a lot of people are very hesitant to care for these. They think it's really hard, but I'll tell you right now, the secret to Lepanthes is humidity. Most of them are Cloudforest orchids, or pretty darn close to it. They come from very moist, very humid environments, and the biggest thing that they need is humidity, but they need air around their roots. So some people grow them potted, some people grow them in inorganic media. I do not. I grow them mounted. I grow them on cork with sphagnum moss, and they do really, really well for me. My oldest ones are, my telepogoniflora here, the Caladictyon, which is in bloom right now. Let's see if we can get this. Beautiful little guy. Sorry, we're back. The camera wouldn't zoom out. Sorry about that. And my third oldest is this right here. It's terrible lighting. Still terrible. Anyway, that's better. This is Lepanthes dodsonii. It grows like a champion for me. It really does well. Cannot get this thing to bloom. It buds, and then the buds get to a certain point and then they blast. So I do have some issues with that one, but it grows really well. I think if I could consistently keep it cooler in the evenings, I think it would do better. That's what I was told by somebody once, but we'll just have to see. It's strong, it's doing better. And then I've got this one for quite a while. It came pretty good size. My growths, sorry, I don't know if you can see that or not, came a good size. This is Lepanthes Gargoyle. Another non-bloomer, but my growths are actually forming a spike there. So some of these are mine. They cakeed last year. I let this thing live actually in the big grow tent. It's a lot cooler in there this past winter, and it did well. I did the same thing with this, and it did really well in there. So I'm going to do that again with those two this coming winter. I'm going to actually put them in there earlier and let them stay in there longer, stay cooler. This is Lepanthes pretiosa. I haven't had that very long. It put out that new growth for me since it's come. It's trying to spike, but I keep plucking off the buds because I want it to push out more new growths. This is Lepanthes hexapus. This is Lepanthes Sherry Bridingham, which is actually a cross between telepogoniflora and Caladictyon back here. This is Lepanthes mariposa. This is Lepanthes uxoria. This right here is Lepanthes dominguensis, and this is Lepanthes helicocephala. Now, I haven't had any of these ones in the middle that long. I think I've had those for a few months. I've had that for a little bit shorter, and I've had these for only a couple weeks. And already I've gotten pretty much everything to bloom. The new ones have pretty much came in bud. They bloomed right away. This one's working on new growths and it has buds coming. They are just vigorous little plants if you can give them the right humidity. So I just wanted to give you guys a quick look into these. Some more care information about them. Keep them moist but not soggy. I water them every couple days. I have a lot of air movement in the Orchidarium where they live, so they do dry out. After 3 days they'll get dry, so even despite that humidity level in there, and you can see some of my controllers, you know, that's where I keep the humidity at for these guys. No heat during the day, it gets up to whatever the room gets. And they stay very happy. They like low levels of feed. I feed them at about 80 to 100 parts per million, depending on how actively they're growing, once a week. And every other watering, I give them CalMag. Every third watering or so, I give them a little bit of kelp. Sometimes I mix the kelp in with their feeding and just get it over with, but they aren't very demanding feeders, very low feeders, but I like to do low and frequent with these guys, so keeps them happy, keeps them growing real well, and they seem to appreciate it. So this is the Orchidarium I have. This is a 70-gallon aquarium I have converted into this vertical terrarium, and I have a reptile light that I have a grow bulb in. Here's my humidity and temperature controller. I have a timer for the light. I have these fans here that bring fresh air into the Orchidarium. One is controlled with the heater, one goes with the humidity element. So whenever the humidity spikes, fresh air, dry air from the outside that's cooler will also get brought in, cycle in, and push the humidity back down. Same thing with the heat. If it ever gets too warm, the fan here sucks air in, cooler air from the house into there, and it will cycle it back again. They kind of work well with each other because, you know, when one sucks air out, the other one kind of balances out as well. So it ended up working really quite nicely, this system. And the fans on the inside that keep the air circulating are just small computer fans. I have them wired in. That's a under tank reptile heater in the back, and again, the heat does not come on during the day. The heat's only on at night if it needs to be. And then I have a humidifier down here for a reptile tank that is modified to go in to the tank, and everything just kind of circulates with the fans, the humidity and the air and everything and whatnot. So that's it. That's the tank, and I'll show you a little magic trick we can do with it. Ready? How about that? Good trick, right? Anyhow, this is where most of them live. Well, this is where all of them live right now. They get nice humidity whenever needed. Some get shade, some get a little bit stronger light. But that is how I keep my Lepanthes. And again, like I said, I will show you guys some pictures of some blooms. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you guys, and I hope you learned something, and I hope you enjoyed.